So I was talking to my teenagers about YouTube. I watch a lot of gardening videos. And they said, Mom, you should take videos of what you do. And I said, well, who wants to see your mom garden? Who would find that interesting? And they said, well, look at all the gardeners you watch. You find it interesting, right? So I said, okay, I guess that doesn't really give me an excuse. One of the things I find hard to locate are gardeners that are located where I am, which is far northwestern Illinois. I'm about 15 minutes from the Wisconsin border. I live 55 miles north from downtown Chicago and about 20 minutes from Twin Lakes, Wisconsin. I've been an avid gardener for many years. I grow beautiful gardens in the front like this that are totally decorative, low maintenance, all the way to things like this, which is literally a side of my house I don't use. These are all potatoes. It's 2 runs of potatoes. They've just been planted a few days ago. And, it'll take them a while to come up, and then eventually I will mound up some additional mulch on top so they keep growing. So to back up a little bit, sorry about the finger in the photo there. This is a cattle panel trellis inspired by Roots and Refuge, Jess and Maya down in Alabama. Obviously I'm in northern Illinois, totally different grow zone. They're in zone 7B, I'm in zone 5. But I will be growing cucumbers up this trellis. That grow pot in the middle is a squash I planted today, so ignore that. I've got some peas that'll be climbing this massive pea and bean cage from Gardeners. Over here I have 2 different kinds of squash. I've got 8-ball and acorn squash. I've got some kind of sad looking recovering tomato plants, a couple of sweet aperitifs, and another one I can't remember. That's a determinate tomato, which I don't normally grow in that terracotta colored plastic pot. So I'll have to update you on that later. Some okra, another sweet aperitif, an acorn squash in that pot back there. Lots of herbs. So I've got dill and chervil and chives and parsley and cilantro and sage and peppermint, you name it. I have them all over. I have every kind of chive or herb you can imagine. And we do a lot of cooking here, so herbs are always welcome, especially fresh ones in our food. I have a really tiny giant Marconi plant I bought at a local farm stand today. And then I have 3 boysenberry plants. Those are in pots because they have to be overwintered indoors. Otherwise they won't survive. So they're 1-year plants. They'll overwinter indoors, dormant in the garage, and then they'll be brought out. They'll summer again before they're planted next fall. So moving on, you'll see I have quite a large area here. It's actually a lot bigger than it looks on camera, I think. But it's fenced for rabbits. So I do have a rabbit problem. I've been vegetable gardening for years here on my small city lot. And every year, a lot of my plants get eaten in the ground by bunnies. So I put up a rabbit fence this year. I'm going to step over, give you a little tour. So to start with, I'm going to turn around. I hope I'm not making anybody sick. It's like my first gardening video ever. All along the fence line, which is quite large, you'll see onion plants. They go 23 feet down this side, almost 20 feet down the side, and then more than 50 feet down the back and around back to the shed. They are a deterrent for rabbits, so that helps. Then I've got my jalapenos. Lots of different tomatoes. This starts kind of my heirloom tomato section, which continues. Around the side, I have some sad butternut squash. They're just not thriving. I may take these out and replace them at some point. But then we start to get into my tomato plants that are really thriving, most of them at least, doing really well. 98% of my tomato plants are indeterminate. I do grow kind of the known breeds, you know, the Better Boy, the Big Boy, the Beefsteak, the Mortgage Lifter, the Sweet 100, you kind of name it. But I also grow the Pineapple, the Black Crim, the Boxcar Willie. You know, I do a lot of heirlooms as well. These are really small right now, but these are Brussels sprouts. They'll get bigger. Those are just a few really small beets. And we're kind of getting back here to the back of my shed. It's kind of a dark area. We've got some beans, another acorn squash that'll grow up this trellis. And when we come back, we're in the middle of the garden, and there's more peppers along that line, broccoli, leeks. I don't know if you can see those in the video. They're just popping up. Some maybe lettuce. We'll see if it takes off or not. Celery. Thai hot chilies. They're super tiny. I don't know if they'll survive. It depends on if the heat holds up. Swiss chard in the red. We have my mind just went completely blank, and I promise you that's not a normal problem. Shallots. Those are actually popping like crazy. It's amazing. And then we have some eggplants and a lone sad tomatillo that I bought. It's a beautiful plant though. And I bought it from a local farm stand here in McHenry, Illinois, on Justin Road. So if somebody wants that information, let me know. Beautiful, beautiful plant. But this is the start of my garden. Most of the plants in this fenced area were planted on May 13th. Today is May 27th. So they've been in the ground for 14 days. A lot of my potted plants were planted in variations. Some were perennials and came back up. And then I have this green stalk planter in the top. Ignore the mess, I apologize. We're still working on our patio. Our flowers, and then in the 4 subsequent rounds are bean seeds that are still sprouting. So I thank you for joining me. I have more gardens to show you. I have shade gardens and flower gardens. And if you're a Zone 5 Northern Illinois gardener, let me know. It was a pleasure to take you on this little tour, and if you like this video, let me know. And if there's something you really want to know specifically, let me know that as well. Thank you. Bye.